Moin und herzlich willkommen hier wieder bei The Hobbyist in der Kategorie Gaming mit dem Spiel Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. Ja, beim letzten Mal haben wir mit D'Angelo ein wenig weiter geforscht, was es mit diesen mysteriösen Morden auf sich hat. Und dieses Mal wollen wir mal schauen, was unsere Malkavianerin Hope zu sagen hat. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Mal schauen. Folge 10. Viel Spaß. Herzlich willkommen zurück. Ja, da sind wir wieder, Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, wie schon gesagt. Mit neuen Soundsettings, etwas lautere Mikrofon, dafür auch etwas lautere Musik. Ich hoffe, das passt alles, aber ich denke schon. Ja, diesmal kümmern wir uns darum, was Hope uns zu sagen hat. Jetzt muss ich gerade das mal auf meinem Ohr ein bisschen leiser machen. Aber bei euch sollte es eigentlich gut sein, ich habe das gerade gecheckt. Hope. Das Doofe ist, sie haben es immer noch nicht so richtig hingekriegt hier. Oh, ich könnte übrigens oben auch noch wieder wahrscheinlich mit dem Primär sprechen, ne? Jetzt ist es an der Zeit, einmal in die Settings zu gehen und das Video zu ändern auf... Was ist das? Nein, ich glaube auf das. Ja, da kann ich nochmal mit dem Primär sprechen, aber wir haben uns ja heute gesagt, wir nehmen uns Hope vor. The other side of Hope. Das wird interessant. Aber dazu gehen wir erstmal wieder zurück in unsere Spielsettings. Zack. Und dann gucken wir mal, was die gute Hope uns so zu sagen hat. Aber erstmal, you need to rest. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In New York City, there are plenty of passers-by going about their business. Viele schöne neue Worte für mich zum Lernen. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker, or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in the patrol car ordinary cops, or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you felt like this. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Fortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon and you burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. Gar nicht so schön, nicht wahr? Ich bin noch ein bisschen... ich glaube, entschuldigt, dass ich das jetzt nochmal tun muss. Aber ich glaube, ich stelle die Musik doch wieder ein bisschen leiser ein. Der Ausschlag hier ist mir ein bisschen zu viel. Kommen wir zurück zum Spiel. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. The color that was gone from his face when you fed on him has now returned. You can tell he is still guarded and suspicious after that encounter, though. Ach so, hatten wir den schon? Ach doch, den haben wir schon gehabt, ja. That's close enough. Says who, das ist geil. Passt zum Ventru. Says who, buddy? You take a step forward. Hey, don't push it. Unless you want me draw attention to us so near the place where you crash for the day. Plus, the boss would be pissed. Well, more pissed. I got something to pass on to you. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, "Time to square the debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro." Irgendetwas sagt mir, weil ich mir so einen Shit immer überhaupt nie merken kann, irgendwas sagt mir, dass ich mir das mal eben aufschreiben sollte. Ich weiß, das ist Cheating, aber ey, das wäre ärgerlich. Und Neventu ist gründlich, die wird sich das, obwohl wird sie sich das notieren, wenn er sagt, na egal. Was sagen wir hier? 232 Mulberry Street. 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro. Ist ja eigentlich mal cool, danach zu suchen, ob es das wirklich gibt oder ob das echt ein Code ist für Leute, die wissen, dass im Weinbusiness, dass es so etwas überhaupt nicht gibt. Ich versuche mich später dran zu erinnern, aber wenn ich es beileibe nicht schaffe, dann gucke ich da auf den Zettel. Okay, weiter geht's. When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a fidel servitore della famiglia G. Familia? Wahrscheinlich soll es Familia heißen. Familia G. Those exact fucking words and make sure you get the G right. Oh, verdammt, das muss ich auch noch mal aufschreiben hier. Fidel servitore. Fidel servitore. Es hört sich irgendwie nach Giovanni an, wenn du mich fragst. Della Famiglia. Familia G. Fedele Servitore della Famiglia G. Ich schätze mal, das ist wirklich Familie Giovanni, aber wir schauen mal. You'll get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know. You done? Memorize that shit and hand it over? What's all that cloak and dagger nonsense? Didn't think it was the letter guy. Didn't peg you balls for a letter kind of guy. Isn't electronic communication his whole shtick? Yeah, well, some things are better done in the old-fashioned way. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases mentioned in the letter and the address, then hand the letter back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns it, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item. Whatever it is. I don't know. And the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead in the letter. Time to pay a visit to Lolita. Interessant. Ich denke, wir werden heute nicht mit Hope sprechen. Zumindest nicht, was unsere eigene Entscheidung angehen würde. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting the local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of an entire wall of wine bottles. There is a door at the end of the room, with a small table and a chair occupied by a man with slick combed back hair who is dressed in a black fur leather jacket. He's reading a newspaper but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup, then gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help? Ich frage mich, ob ich Ihren italienischen Akzent verpassen sollte. Vielleicht schaffe ich das. Be direct. Chat up. Tell a friend sent you. Be direct. Das ist das, wonach Sie gefragt haben. I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro, please. Let me check out of stock. She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry. Recite the phrase straight and simple. I'm a fedele servitore della famiglia G. In that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the door in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. Remain silent and wait. Das ist ein sehr seriöser Auftrag von einem sehr abgefuckten Nosferatu. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter, and you just keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting you every so often. Sorry. The doors to the back of the store open, and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologizing smile. Scusi, sorry for taking so long. Turned out we did have it. She offers you the bottle and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? I'll be taking this, thank you, yeah. You focus your blood and you immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently on you and what you're about to say. I know exactly what this is and I'm the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. Ich fürchte ja, der Nosferatu hat sich da gerade einen Scherz mit uns erlaubt und hat uns gerade von der Familie G, nämlich Giovanni, Wein klauen lassen. Also Wein. Das ist wahrscheinlich eine sehr erlesene Speise. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but finally you get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. So lange hat das gedauert. Got the goods? I do, but it was a hassle, sollte ich vielleicht sagen, ja. Got it, but it was a hassle. Oh, boo-hoo, stick around, gotta make the call. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carry the last time. Hey, boss. Yeah, they have it. We do, I point them to. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah. I'll tell them to go there straight away. Them? He puts the phone back inside his pocket and turns back to you. Willard's Point, half an hour, so you better step on it. See you around. With just a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it up on time, but you're here. Willard's Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump. the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the pothole are going to kill your chassis. You step out into one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar. A middle-aged woman who's just locking the place up. Oh. Das sollte ich vielleicht machen, dann bin ich auch wieder ein bisschen besser gelitten. This is too perfect of an opportunity to not take advantage of. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night. When you sneak up on her, she's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You can taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out, hear a sold, the closing note of a long day at work. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car's keys she dropped and place her in the driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out like this for sure. The bright lights of a car pulling up down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser's finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill this time. Kaiser's visible the first time you look inside. You sit down and close your door behind you. Oh, jetzt kommt's wieder.
So you pulled it out without a hitch then. Give it here.
You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it gently, takes a whiff, and puts the cork back in.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address.
He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser.
Yeah, I'll send Jackie over if I need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now.
Immer wieder ein Charme. He waves you out of the car. With the envelope in hand, you get back onto the torn asphalt and decrypt surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Wow, das geht aber ziemlich schnell jetzt. Jetzt ist das Tempo ein bisschen schneller. Das Erzähltempo. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. Thomas Arturo. You met in Elysium a few nights back. That shriek is unmistakable. Ah, Stevie, so glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk before? Thomas speaks out before you can. Why, yes, of course, and such a good first impression you made, too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so too, don't you, Sophie? Was für ein Arsch? Why, of course Of course you do, of course. Well, I believe I got to be going. I'll be sure to let Prince Panhard know your thoughts. Miss Langley? Word for word, or as close as I can remember them. I appreciate it, Thomas. You two enjoy your night now. Good night, Sophie, Stevie, Greggy boy. Greggy boy. He gives you a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The doors close. He's quite the character, isn't he? What a creep. What's his deal here? So, what's his deal? Same as everyone's. Position, power, influence. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details in everyone from the prince to the lowest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Eccentricity, so. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for? Yes, but I had to do another job for him. Ja, das sollte ich hier sagen, oder? Yes, I have it, but the data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he gave me this card. She retrieves the envelope from you. I'm sure he did. I hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. He made me go on an entire separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. I had to use code phrases and whatnot. Wine shop, code phrases? That degenerate pest! She's visibly agitated, but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure whatever Kaiser's had to do, it will blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw on Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Yes! Excellent! I need to call for some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear Charge. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside. You are left to do... Oh, ist das jetzt ein Schreibfehler? Moment mal. With that, Sophie ushers you outside. You are left to do with the rest of... Ich kann machen, was ich will. Weiter. Oh. Ein neues Spielchen ist hinzugekommen. Was ist das hier? Somebody's watching. Recently you're feeling as if somebody keeps telling you. Time to confirm your suspicions. Das wäre jetzt natürlich interessant, aber ich habe gesagt, wir gehen nochmal wieder zu Hope. Hope is about to head out into the city. Accompany her and see her true face. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich dafür so richtig in Stimmung bin gerade, aber ich habe euch gesagt, wir gucken uns Hope an. Jetzt müssen wir eben kurz gucken, was die Recording-Zeit sagt. 22 Minuten. Ich glaube, das heben wir uns fürs nächste Mal auf, denn diese Folge hat jetzt schon wieder ganz gut gedauert. Und ich denke, wir widmen uns Hope in Folge 11. Bis dahin.